All right, good evening, everybody. Bonsoir, bonsoir. Yeah, I'm still getting my oh hey Crook. Hey, I was just calling you to see if you're coming on. I'm still getting our guests settled, everybody. So just bear with me. I had him on the phone, but we're trying to work through some of the technological challenges. But okay, I just wanted to check with you, Crook. You are coming? Okay, okay, all right. Okay, good. Okay, see you. Bye bye. Okay, good, good. So, but yeah, welcome, welcome. Um, I think our attorney guest is kind of new to this, so I'm trying to walk him through this. Okay, and I'm going to pull up that law again. Illinois statute on puppy. No, get down. Get down, please. Good boy. Illinois statute on aha, God. Got's it. Okay, let's see if I can get Mr. Solomon back here. Okay. I don't know why it's not going through, but anyway, so while hopefully I'll try to get our guest on, but I want to go over this anyway. Um, the law. We're gonna review the. Hey, Paul. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. I know Luke says he's coming. Go outside to bark. You are annoying me. Go outside. Why is it like I feel like it's right when they know that you're trying to do something, that they do all this. And I already let him outside. I opened the door for you. That's okay. You can bark, but you gotta go outside, mister. I don't want you being all loud while I'm on. But yeah, so if you are if you're just tuning in, and if you are not aware, we had sudden news a week ago, today, last Friday, that it was reported in the news that Mayor Clark of Harvey had passed away. And so there are some state statutes that tell you what to do, how to handle that. So we went over those, and I'm gonna hey, Ms. Brown, hey, welcome. I'm gonna go over those again tonight, the state statute, and then I did look in the Harvey Municipal Code, and I'll show you guys how to do that. How you can actually search the municipal code for either for Harvey or for your town. And I didn't really find anything that relates specifically to that, but I'm going to pull that up as well. So, Mr. Solomon, are you coming? Okay, I'll try to call him again. Hey, Crook. Okay, cool. You're there, Crook. Hello. And Miss Brown. That's Miss G, right? You're Miss G, Miss Brown. Is this your YouTube name? Oh. That's weird. The call's just not going through. Okay, who knows? But anyway, it's fine. Regardless, I can pull up the applicable laws. So the first one is 65 ILCS section ILCS 5 section 3 or 3.1-10-50. Oh, here he is. Here he is. Hello. Oh. Oh, okay. Oh, I can walk you through it. Okay. Yeah, so when you click on the link that I sent, yeah, it should open up in your browser, and then it's going to ask for permission, to use your mic and your phone. Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I was just going to try to help you to log in or walk you through it, because you can log in while we're on the phone as well. That's fine. You can do both. But yeah, once you want to get to where it says that you're like on stage or something, it'll tell you that. And yeah, like, what does your screen say? And I'm also gonna text you a link of the law that I've pulled it up, so I'll text that to you too. But yeah, like, what does the screen say? The screen say on your browser, like, you clicked on the link, right? So what does it say? Okay, yeah, I just wanted to know, like, what it says, because I don't see you backstage yet. Because once you log in all the way, you'll pop up, backstage. Hey, Michael, welcome. Crook, Ms. Brown. Hey guys, welcome. Yeah, we're getting set. Just bear with us. Max is almost on. But yeah, do you see it coming up in your browser? And then, oh, okay. Oh, wait, that was Crook. Okay. Okay, one of my little helper guys, he popped up. I thought that was you, Max. Yeah, I texted you, just in case you were wondering that exact statute that we went over the other day. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm watching for you. I just didn't see it. It must not have logged in all the way or something, because when you do, it'll pop up on my screen. Um, Not yet. What does it say in your browser? Oh, of yourself. Oh, okay, cool. And then, yeah, so it'll like show you a little bit of your camera, and then towards the bottom of the screen there should be something that you can press, where it'll say enter studio. Like underneath where your image is, where your video image is. I know. Yeah,
Ask him to see if he's on Google Chrome.
it's a little small on your phone. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, he's on his phone, Crook. So you know how it gets like a little small to see. That's why it's a little hard. But yeah, you should. Yes, yeah, you'll see a button that says Enter Studio. Exactly. Yeah, you can just put it, whatever you want to be known as. That's fine.
Tell them to label it.
Yay, you did it. Okay. Alrighty, cool. So I'll add you to the stage. Okay. Can you hear me? And then I'll hang up, but I want to make sure you can hear me first. All right. Can you hear me, Max?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yay, we figured it out. Yay. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. So yeah, everybody. So this is Max Alm. If you don't know him, he is an attorney. He's based here in the south suburbs. And we were talking about all this stuff happening with the mayor and just the selection process. And I was looking for someone to come along and just kind of be able to answer some legal questions, talk about it. So yeah, I pulled up that state statute, that I had talked about. Did you want to say like anything in general, kind of, Max, about it? Or well, I guess I would say you could start by, if you want to introduce yourself and tell the viewers about you.
Well, thanks for that. I think your introduction was perfect. My name is Max Solomon, attorney, licensed in Illinois and Indiana. It's good to be here. Good evening, everyone that's listening. Thanks for the introduction, Ryan, and let's get into it.
How you
Okay.
doing, Solomon? Good to have you on the show.
Thank you.
And that's Kirk County. So he's my helper.
Executive producer.
Yes, he does so
All
much.
right.
He's wonderful. But yeah, so basically, like, so I pulled up that that part of the state law, the section 3.1-10-50, and let me go to the part. So, Max, the part where section D, it says election of an acting mayor. Okay, so it says it does not create a vacancy in the original office of the person on the city council.
That's correct.
Unless the person resigns from the original office, once they become acting mayor. So that's what I think that was the biggest thing for me to clarify. And if you hadn't tuned in before, so basically the mayor passed away, okay? And so the law says the city council meets and at a special meeting, and they elect from their members one of the aldermen to be an interim mayor. So that's like where we're coming from. So we kind of already had established that. But so to my understanding, if they want the power to veto, Max, then they have to give up their aldermanic seat. I mean, to me, it seems
No,
like
that's not correct entirely. So if you read this statute 3.1.10.50, if you read it very carefully, once he begins to, or whoever, once he or she begins to act as the interim mayor, interim president, pending the election of the mayor or president, the statute says clearly that he has the power to vote and to veto just like the president or mayor does. Now, what he cannot do is carry or act as the trustee or alderman and vote in that capacity, and also switch hats and vote and veto in the capacity of the mayor. That's what he or she cannot do.
right.
Right.
Now that you're saying, though, that's if they resign from their, per this law, I'm looking at, if they resign from
No.
their aldermanic posts.
No, they don't have to resign to act as mayor. Remember, let's look at it this way. Even if the mayor was not, even if it's a situation where the mayor was not dead, maybe the mayor was incapacitated or unable to act, or maybe out of town. Maybe there was a meeting and the mayor is not in town, and or for some reason he can't preside over council's meeting. A mayor pro tempore, a mayor pro tem would have the same power, the same duties as the mayor. But in that moment, he didn't have to, and he doesn't have to resign as the trustee or alderman. They are still trustee and alderman, but they just cannot vote in that moment in both capacities. That's all. They don't have to resign, and they don't have to they don't have to retire from their current office. They're just acting in place of the mayor and acting as the mayor, and they have the same power in that moment like the mayor. And in this case, just the same thing, but over the next 1 year until another mayor is elected.
Now this is the part that I have a question of, though. So in this statute, it says, if the person does not resign from the original office following election as acting mayor, the acting mayor shall exercise the powers of the mayor, but shall be entitled to vote only in the manner provided for as the holder of the original office, and shall not have the power to veto. You see what I mean?
If they decide not to resign.
Correct. In other words, if they do not resign so let's say let's just say they voted for Colby or something, and so Colby said, okay, great, I'll be interim mayor, but I'm still keeping my aldermanic seat. You know what I mean? I'm just filling in for the mayor. Then according to this law, it says that they shall not have the power to veto unless she has to resign, or whoever the candidate would have to resign their aldermanic seat. Then an interim alderman would be appointed, and then that interim mayor would have the veto power. But
that just means that they can't wear two hats, and that makes sense. That makes sense. They cannot.
Correct.
They cannot wear two hats. Say for example, Sorry, go ahead.
Right. So in the example, like I said, let's say if the board chose Colby, and then she said, well, I don't really care about being able to veto legislation. That's fine. I'd rather just keep my aldermanic seat, but I'll be acting mayor. Then she can do that, but then she can't veto. But I guess then my question, and I feel like the law doesn't answer this, is like, is there no, I guess there's just no, it's only five votes then for everything, or well, let's see, they don't have veto power. I was just trying to think of what would be different. No, I guess it's not that crazy. Anyway, sorry. No, what were you going to say?
How many wards do you have in Harvey?
We have 6 aldermen for 6 wards. So typically the mayor is the tiebreaker. Usually the mayor does not vote here at all unless they're breaking a tie, or they can veto legislation. Right.
So in this case, where the mayor is no more, and one of these 6 is going to be acting mayor, there will be, sounds to me like there will be no reason to not have a majority, because if the acting mayor is acting and cannot vote as an alderman, it leaves 5 aldermen, and 5 aldermen are not going to tie.
Right. So that's why it's so interesting to me. Yeah, Kirk, did you change this? I can't see the law again. Show people the law. How do I go back to it? Okay, there we go. Cool. But yeah, so it's very, and it's just, this is such a rare thing. I've never seen this happen. It's very interesting. By the way, they're also, once the interim mayor is selected, I don't know if you knew this, but apparently our clerk has also vacated the position. And I don't think they officially said why or how. I'm guessing it was a resignation. So after that happens, then, and this relates to a question that I saw one of our chatters had, is that, once the board appoints that interim mayor, then according to this law, it sounds like that mayor then has the power to choose up to 2 candidates to fill that alderperson vacancy. And I'm just going.
Are you talking about if the alderman? Are you talking about if the alderman resigns their seat?
Right, exactly, because that's what people are wondering. So
Yes.
like Paul was saying, for instance, if Dominique Randall, because he was one of the candidates this past Monday, even though they couldn't decide. But if Randall let's say he becomes interim mayor and then he resigns his aldermanic seat because he wants to be able to have the veto power, can he then appoint whoever he wants, as long as it's someone from his ward? Let's say, for instance, Casey Nesbitt, because Casey Nesbitt, who's also the clerk for the township, she lives in that ward. So then, but according to the law, it does sound like that the mayor can make the appointment, but the city council still has to confirm it. Is that correct?
That's very correct. Yes.
Okay. And I believe that's the same for the clerk as well. So again, once that interim mayor comes along, then that candidate or the interim mayor then can also nominate or appoint an interim clerk, but the council
I'm not getting why the clerk has to resign. There's no vacancy in the office of the clerk.
There is. That's what I'm saying. Max, this is absolutely insane. Harvey is so crazy.
Is that an ordinance? Is that an ordinance inside of Harvey? Or
no, I said before, we don't have a clerk now, but we don't know why. They just informed us publicly and suddenly that the seat was vacated. Now, what other town have you ever heard of on God's green earth where people just she has not been reporting to work or public meetings for, oh goodness.
What happened to your clerk? Did your clerk resign, or she's just not performing?
We don't know. That is what is crazy. And there's to my knowledge, there's no public statement to explain what in the world happened to our clerk. We just know probably for at least a year, she's been absent from most of the meetings. I mean, isn't that crazy? Have you ever heard of that?
I have a few questions of my own. So you said the clerk has been missing from several meetings?
Oh, more than several. Yeah.
How many meetings does your ordinance?
We're supposed to have 2 a month for city council.
Right, but how many meetings does an elected official has to miss before a vacancy is declared in that office?
You know what? That is a great question. Hey, no apologies. Hey. But
the city council can declare a vacancy if the person elected, for example, your clerk, refuses to function or is not functioning without cause. Now, what you might want to research is whether the clerk has submitted some kind of documents to the village, to the city council, maybe some leave of some arrangement where the city council has approved it, and maybe she's covered or he's covered under that. If you want to research that. But if this is a case of just absolute or vacation of the duties and obligations of that office, then the city council, led by the mayor, can declare vacancy and appoint somebody else to take the place.
Right. So it's basically the same thing as for the all. So that's why the first step that is selecting the interim mayor. Then that person will nominate well, if they've resigned their seat because they want the veto power, then that person nominates a replacement for their aldermanic seat, but the city council has to confirm. And then the interim mayor nominates a replacement for the clerk, but the city council has to confirm.
Well, the first thing that interim mayor has to do with the city council is declare a vacancy in the office of the clerk. That's the first thing. You cannot, an appointment cannot be made to fill an office that's not vacant.
Oh, right. Yeah, I was gonna say, I wonder what your legal opinion would be on the agenda, like for the last meeting. Because I don't know, do you guys remember? I don't think that was on the agenda. It was just there were basically three major agenda items. It was appoint an interim mayor, appoint an interim clerk, and something about changing the permissions for the bank signatories. I'm sure, permitting them to sign to pay the bills, because that's what they care about the most, is the money. But that's a good.
All right, let me ask you this then. Who called the roll during the meeting? So who has been calling the rolls during the meetings all this time?
The deputy clerk.
All right, and has there been any explanation to the public, to the residents, as to why the elected clerk is missing and is not calling the roll or calling the votes?
The only thing that I recall being stated in a public meeting, nothing, I've never seen anything in writing, but they did state at one point that I think she had something happen in her family, there was some sort of family issue, but yeah, that was the only thing stated. So, and sorry, no apologies. That I heard there are 3 seats vacant. No, I don't think so. I think it should just be mayor and clerk. No apologies. But yeah, it's so strange, Max. Have you ever heard of a situation like this where there's just so clearly like the communication is so horrible?
Well, I would caution your listeners and and the people of Harvey, and urge them to avoid saying that the office of the clerk is vacant. I mean, I understand the disagreements and maybe the perception of negligence of duty or failure to be transparent or failure to be accountable or responsive, but only the city council can declare a vacancy. And if the city council has not, for some reason, for whatever reason, best known to them, has not declared a vacancy in the office of the clerk, then I would caution your listeners against, publicly saying that an incoming mayor or an incoming acting mayor would have to appoint for the office of the clerk. That might raise some issues that are not necessary in this situation. I would research into if I were, Harvey resident, my first inquiry would be, what is the status of the clerk, and what is what does the city council know or not know, and how long is she going to be gone for if the city council knows, and if none of those, what is the city council's plan on either declaring a vacancy or explaining to the people of Harvey exactly what's going on? That would be my first inquiry.
Okay, definitely. Crook, are you taking notes? Write that down. But no, seriously, because we will reach out, and I just pulled up as you were talking, and I put on the screen the agenda for last Monday's meeting. Now, like I said, they could not agree. They, at the beginning of the meeting, they voted to table appointing an acting clerk and approving a resolution amending bank signatories. But as I'm looking at the agenda, like they had a call to order, roll call, invocation and pledge, moment of silence, remarks by city attorney, and then the main action items were appointing acting mayor and administer the oath, appoint acting clerk, administer the oath, and then approve
Oh,
that.
wait a minute now. Wait a minute. You just said appoint an acting clerk.
Correct.
If the city council has it on their agenda to appoint an acting clerk, that means at some point in the past, a vacancy has either been acknowledged in that office or a vacancy has been declared in that office. That's what we don't know. I don't know if you know, but I don't.
I've never seen it publicly declared. That's what's so strange. Yeah, I've never seen that posted anywhere. So it's very weird.
Yeah, what is the clerk saying? If the clerk that was elected in 2023, was it?
Yes.
If he or she is not responding and has not said anything about the potential for her to be replaced, then maybe she did resign, or maybe she did vacate the seat.
Right.
Maybe there's something that we don't know.
Right. And, Crook was half joking, but, seriously, things are so messed up in Harvey. This could be true. Crook said she is in the federal protection program, I think, as in like referring to like, a protected witness. And it is sort of like, ha, ha, ha. But, these things, this is how we're always treated in Harvey, Max. Like we never, with all these boards, things are not disclosed. There's so many decisions that get made behind the scenes. And a lot of times as residents, I think I try to educate myself and others so that at least we know what to ask. But many times we know that things are off, but we're not exactly quite sure like what people should be doing.
Well, in that case, I would go back to your meeting minutes of the past 2 years, or maybe of the past 3 years, and follow the meetings. At some point, the village council or the city council would have discussed the status or the office of the clerk in some meeting, either in closed session or in open session. And as we know, decisions cannot be made in closed session. So they would have to come out of closed session and take a vote or make a decision. So if your city does not post on its website the minutes of the city council's meeting, then I would FOIA it. I would, if I was a Harvey resident, I would FOIA the meeting minutes of the past 3 years since clerk, since before the clerk stopped functioning, and since after she stopped functioning. I would want to know what the transaction was.
Right, because I cover all the public meetings. I've been in all the city council meetings the past few years, and I know they never announced, and they definitely never put on the agenda that they were voting on a vacancy, to create a vacancy, to vacate the clerk's seat. So that's just, it's so weird, it's crazy. It's crazy.
And maybe in open session, or maybe during public participation, somebody could ask the simple but very important question: why are we appointing the clerk if there is no vacancy in the clerk's office? Has there been a vacancy in the clerk's office that we don't know about? And then the mayor will be forced to answer that, or the city council will be forced to answer that, or at least that will be on the record that somebody asked.
Right. And I can tell you that this was like at the January meeting. We only have one meeting in January, one city council meeting, but Alderman Tracy Key asked at the time he was acting chair, Dominique Randall, and said, "I've heard that the clerk resigned. Could you, elaborate? Could you tell the public what is going on?" And the acting chair for the meeting said, "No, we won't talk about that." That is on record. Have you ever heard of something like that happening? See, that struck me as very strange too. Like, why would you deny to discuss that in public? That seems strange.
Well, they might not want to discuss, especially if the clerk has maybe transmitted some very sensitive information or personal information. It makes sense that the city council would not divulge that to the public, especially if it's not a closed session where they can discuss it, But even so, even if that were to be the case, um, they are required to let the public know, all right, the clerk has resigned for reasons we cannot share with you, but that means there has been a vacancy in the clerk's office.
Right. No,
and that's sufficient. That'll do it. We don't need to know why, especially if it's personal.
And
but
that's all.
Let us know.
The alderman just wanted, a clear official statement in the public meeting, and it was so weird because Dominique Randall, the alderman who was acting chair for that meeting, said, just said no, like we're not talking about that. And so everyone was looking at each other. Max, we were like, well, that's strange. Like we didn't ask what her personal health situation was. We just wanted to know, like, where's our clerk? You know what I mean? Like, this is what I don't understand. If you have a normal job in the private sector, you can't not show up for maybe, 2 days before they're going to say, well, do you have a doctor's note or something? Like, you can't just keep not showing up to work, or are you going to apply for FMLA? Are you going to ask for leave? Are you going to do something? But you can't just not show up for months and months and months and months. And it's so strange how, like, I see this behavior, in Harvey on these boards where people just do strange things like this. And I'm like, how do they feel? Because like you're saying, the board should inform us what the clerk, what has happened, whether she resigned or whatever. But isn't that their duty? Shouldn't they be telling us, like, what happens to our public officials, like if they resigned or not?
That's absolutely their duty. That's absolutely the duty of public officials to inform, to be responsible, to be responsive, to be accountable, to be transparent. This is a city government. This is the government of the people, and the people deserve to know, and the people deserve answers to their questions, especially in something regarding something as important as knowing whether the people or the person they elected is still functioning in the office that they elected the official for. And if she's not, they deserve to know. And quite frankly, a public statement should have been made, like I said, not as to the reason, especially if it's private or personal or for whatever, but as to whether or not there has been a vacancy. Ladies and gentlemen, there has been a vacancy in the office of the clerk. There's nothing illegal about that, and there's nothing too hard to do about that. And then you can put it on the agenda that somebody else will be appointed to that office, or somebody else is going to be acting in the interim while things are sorted out, or until the next election. The city council has the right to do that.
Right. Absolutely. No, I'm glad that you're agreeing, because that, to me, that just is common sense. But now my other question is, I don't know if you know this, but as far as the details of the mayor's passing, a lot of people are asking, and different news reports no one's really said. They just say, like, oh, a source says he was sick, blah, 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 blah. Now we know, obviously, detailed health information, that doesn't need to be disclosed, and that's protected under HIPAA, which is the federal law. But, is it, what as the public do we have access to? Like, are we allowed to, like, did they release autopsy reports, or do they just have a very simple, like, cause of death on a death certificate? Or what do you know what is made public as far as, when a public official dies in office?
That's a very interesting question. In respect to the family of Chris, and may God rest him, I think the people of Harvey should be patient, and in this time of grieving for the family, in this time of great loss, I don't think it'll be unreasonable for the people of Harvey to be patient as to if there are any details coming from the family, or if there is going to be any detail about his death. I think that should be left up to the family and allow the give the family some room and respect and privacy at this time, before demands are being made about how or what happened. Yes, he is or he was an elected official, and the village and the city and the public informed about his death. I think that's sufficient under the law as far as what happened to their mayor. It would have been different if he was just AWOL, missing, and not been, not heard from, and the family or the village or the city is not telling the people where their mayor is. But in this case, we've been told, the public has been told, and the news media has released the news that he died. As far as details of his death, I don't think the public has a right to know that. I don't think so, especially, and I don't see any law. I haven't met or heard of any law that requires the public to know the details of anyone's death, public or private. But personally, I don't think the public is entitled to it unless the family releases that kind of information, and the family is allowed time and space to do so if they wish to do so.
Right. Crook says, I missed part of this small recap, please. So Crook, we were just talking about some people have been asking because actually the mayor was AWOL. I don't know if you knew that, Max, but he was for
yes, I heard about it.
Yes, he was. And so the timing was very shocking, very suspicious, very mysterious, it was just, for everyone was just like, what? Because he was not present at any public meetings from October 27th all the way up to last Friday, when it started appearing in some of the media that he had passed away. And so we were all like, what? They had passed away? Like we hadn't even seen the guy. We didn't know if he went on vacation, went into hiding. We just had no idea. So that's Kirk, that's what we were talking about. But basically, Max was saying it doesn't really seem like there's any legal right to necessarily know the details of the death. But now, as far as I know, because I have looked up, just in my reporting before, I know the Cook County Medical Examiner does, they have, they'll list something about, all sorts of deaths, but it's not really, that in depth. It's not like an autopsy report or something, but I hope that answers that, Crook. So yeah, question for Max. And that relates to what we asked. I think he basically said no. Question for Max: are reports from the coroner's office made public? And I don't know what you think, Max. When I Googled it, it said no, but I don't know if you've ever heard of them being made public.
Well, if it was a suspicious death, if it was, if the circumstances surrounding a public official's death are suspicious or foul play related, or raises more questions than answers, and the family, even the family doesn't know. For example, if the family are also seeking answers, then in that kind of situation, the medical examiner's office might release a statement or might, make it public, especially, like I said, if it was of public interest. If it was a foul play or mysterious circumstances, he went missing and we don't know what happened to him or something like that. But if it was a situation where maybe, I don't know, nobody knows, maybe he was sick, maybe his family knew exactly what happened, there was no foul play, and there is, maybe he was investigated and the investigators have found no foul play and the police are not involved, then it's up to the family to release the cause of death if they wish to do that. I don't think the public is entitled to, private information about the cause of his death, especially if it's medical or health related.
Yeah, Crook says everything about Clark is suspicious. Well, I understand. So, it's true, unfortunately, as we've dealt with him as a mayor, but even personally, a lot of people have commented on that everything has been shrouded in mystery and secrecy, and so of course that when that's the case, it does make people even more curious. They're like, what? Wait, he just suddenly died. Why would that happen now when all this stuff is happening with that the city was voted as a financially distressed city, and
Right.
we lost almost half of our staff was laid off by Clark, and waiting for a state bailout. So it's just been there's so much chaos. But Crook says, thank you, Max. Appreciate the feedback. Paul says, how long does the city council have until they allow the residents of Harvey to hold an election for their interim mayor?
No, there is no election for interim mayor. There will be an election for the mayor. And since the mayor, and again, I knew Chris, may God rest his soul. It was a painful news to hear of his passing. I knew him well. He was an attorney. I've seen him in courts. I've had conversations with him. I consider him a friend. But to answer the gentlewoman's question, the village or the city does not get to elect publicly an interim or acting mayor. The next election, I understand Chris was elected back in 2023, so he was supposed to be up for re-election or for election next year, 2027, during the municipal or during the April next year vote.
Right.
So what's going to happen is the interim mayor is going to be interim, appointed or selected by the city council, the aldermen, from amongst themselves, and if none of them wants to serve, they can appoint somebody from the members from the citizens of Harvey. And that person, whoever it is going to serve as interim mayor until next April, when the election is held for the people of Harvey to then elect. And as you know, in about 6 months, maybe 7, maybe 8, it'll be around September or maybe August, petitions are going to start to be circulated for the next election. Mm-hmm. And whoever wants to run for mayor would have an opportunity to declare their candidacy and collect the petition signatures and file by the end of this year, and then get on the April next year election.
Right. No, that's interesting that you say if no one wanted the interim mayor job, that they could select someone from the residents, because that I did not see in that particular state's statute. But have you seen that happen before?
It's in there. I think it's there. It's 3.1/1050.
Are you sure? Okay, I looked, but that, because that's interesting. I think Paul, if I can infer, I think the reason why Paul's asking that is because remember when this happened with Tiffany and at the township, remember? So Frank Zuccarelli died, and then they had to the board couldn't agree. They couldn't agree on someone to select, for interim supervisor. And I don't know if this is a separate law or something, but I do remember people talking about that if they hadn't selected someone by a certain time, it was supposed to go to I don't know if it was a popular vote, but somehow the people were going to vote. I don't know. Do you remember that?
I do remember that, and I think the township statute, the township statute has provisions in there where If the statute says you have to do something by a specific time, then of course that's the law. But as far as the municipal code is concerned, I don't remember reading, and maybe I'm going to take a look at it, or maybe now is the city of Harvey home rule?
Yes.
I think okay. So Harvey's home rule. So there may be an ordinance somewhere there in the city archives or somewhere, something that has been passed by the city council that sets the time by which the city council must appoint or select an acting mayor in the case of a vacancy in that office. But outside of that, reasonable time would be the usual language of the statute. But I don't remember, as I speak to you, any specific number of days or weeks that a vacancy must be filled by, especially the vacancy, given that any of the aldermen can be appointed to act as interim mayor, mayor pro tem, but it has to be done one way or the other. It has to be done, and the people of Harvey would get an opportunity to chime in on that and elect their own mayor come next April.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. Tell It Gemini says, did the mayor pro tem receive his? Well, it's actually her. The mayor pro tem is Shirley Derwinski. Receive her security detail, or is she without security? I don't think Max would know this, but I do have a few sources that have said that yes, Shirley Derwinski does have, I think both of the officers have been removed from patrol, just as Mayor Clark had in order to provide for her security. That's what I have a few sources telling me that the city, I've also FOIA'd that information, but they really, really don't like to talk about that because they know that that's sensitive. I mean, that gets people riled up, but yeah, if we get the paperwork, I'll share that. And then Michael says, at this time, how many salaries will the mayor pro tem and the alderman get? Oh, okay. I think, wait, are you saying, Michael, I think maybe what he means is, possibly two things. In other words, Shirley Derwinski is currently mayor pro tem. Is she getting paid extra, or is she just getting her aldermanic salary? That's the first question.
That's up to the city council. It depends on what the provisions are. Remember, all the statute, the Illinois Municipal Code, all it says on that subject is that the city council shall set compensation. It's up to the people of the city of Harvey and whatever ordinance that's in place for compensation of public officials for the city of Harvey. So it's up to the city council. I don't know what that is, but we can look it up. We could take a look at the Harvey Municipal Code and look at whatever ordinance that speaks to compensation.
Right. I was gonna say, because I'm glad you said that, because I was gonna show people, pull it up on the screen right now, so you can look yourself. There is oops, remove. What do you mean it's not showing? Hold on here. There we go. Okay. So you can pull up the Harvey Municipal Code. I just Google usually Harvey City Code, Harvey Municipal Code, and it pops up. And then there's a search function. So for instance, you could do, you can see it pops up. I had searched for resignation, and if you put that in, and we had already gone over this on one of my other lives, but like there was one hit in the law department saying how they would handle a city lawyer resigning, and then there was another one in the emergency services saying how they would handle the resignation of an emergency services coordinator, but there was nothing on any, elected officers resigning. But if we do that same thing and we do pro tem, put that in as a search term. Okay, we get 2 hits here, and let's see what it says. Mayor pro tem special. Okay, so that was, it just gives us an ordinance number, 3036. Now, unfortunately, it doesn't
look for compensation of city officials or city elected officials, something like that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because I was gonna say it gives us an ordinance number, but it doesn't give us the the text of it. But let's say if we search for compensation, maybe, let's see. Compensation. Oh no, that wasn't. I don't think that's it. Oh, city officers and employees generally. Let's see. Elected officers compensation. Okay, here we go. So it gives the it gives the salaries for mayor, alderman, city clerk, and treasurer. Yeah, that's about it. That's it. So no, I don't see. Let's see after that if there's any special provisions. Oh, and then the mayor, who's also the liquor control commissioner, gets 25,000 per year,
Right.
which is crazy.
Right.
Way too much. They don't need that, but whatever. That's what that is.
That's by statute. The Illinois statute, the Illinois Municipal Code authorizes, which is of course the legislature, Illinois legislature, authorizes the mayor to also be the liquor commissioner and compensation and be compensated for both separately.
I know.
All of the mayors. Whether that is right or wrong, it's up to the legislature. But they all do it. All the villages and all the cities, they all have, all their mayors have those 2 hats. Now, personally, do I agree with that? I don't know. I don't know if that's a good thing for the mayor to be the liquor commissioner, but well, in the wisdom of the legislature, that's what we have.
It certainly is a great thing for people who want to accumulate a lot of power and control. So I could see why the legislature would vote for that. It also lists a little bit of our residency requirements. Like it says all employees have to reside within 22 miles of the city. Let me see. What is this? Homestead lottery? What is that? A city employee. Who is the time I'm going to assume? The city's lottery for homestead properties. Oh, I was going to say 1990. I was going to say, well, my God, that must be an old ordinance because I don't ever remember hearing of a homestead lottery. Okay, interesting. But anyway, I just wanted to show you guys how to look that up. So again, anybody, if you pull up the municipal code, and you could do that for any town, for your town too, even if you don't live in Harvey, if you just search like, Orland Park municipal code or whatever, and then it'll pop up and you can actually search. So that's kind of a cool feature. Let's see, who else? Does Harvey have a deadline for appointing an interim mayor, or can they keep choosing a mayor pro tem until the next election? That I found, Paul, in the law. If I can, let me find it. It's that there is a time limit for that in the state law. It says that. But hold on, let me find it. It says, oh wait, no, never mind. It doesn't say. No, that's for alderperson. So that's a good question. I don't know. I did not actually see that in the law. I don't know. So do you know if there's another law or anything that would speak to that, Max? Again, just
right. So if the state law, if the municipal code is silent on an issue, usually villages and cities, they would have an ordinance passed to address that particular issue. And that's what I was saying earlier, that maybe I'm not very familiar with all the ordinances of the city of Harvey, but I'm sure they're there. if the city of Harvey has passed an ordinance setting a specific time limit as to when a vacancy, especially in the office of a mayor, must be filled by,
Right.
then that's what strictly the city council or the alderman should go by or will go by. I'm sure municipal Harvey attorneys would make sure that's the case. But otherwise,
I Googled, or I mean, I searched through the municipal code, and I didn't see. I was surprised. I did not see anything in Harvey Municipal Code about procedures for resignation, vacancies for any elected officials whatsoever. I was very surprised.
well, remember this: the municipal code that you see online may not be updated. Some of those municipal codes are years behind, and most villages and cities, when they pass ordinances, they have their own internal coding, by number, ordinance number such and such, ordinance number this and that, and they would have the clerk of the city or the village would have access or is the keeper of such records. So that's interesting to know. If I were a Harvey resident and I want to know this, I would FOIA it.
Right.
Or I would come to the next meeting and ask the interim clerk or whoever is acting instead of the clerk and say, hey, do we have any ordinance that speaks to compensation of mayor pro temp or acting mayor who is also an alderman, or a time limit or a timeline that a vacancy should be filled by? And I'm sure, I have no doubt that somewhere in the ordinance of the city of Harvey, that'll be there.
Yeah, I noticed at the bottom of the screen, it just says the municipal code is current through February 24th of last year. So I would assume that means, maybe, we might be missing out if something was passed, in the year since. Also, though, I did notice, one of them, it said there's like a list of ordinances. Oh, here it says ordinance list and disposition table. Does that?
Yes. Look at that. Yep, that's what you want to look at. Ordinances.
Yeah. But I don't know if the crazy thing, though, is that they don't have the text. It lists a whole bunch of ordinances and basic explanations, but it doesn't have the text of them. See, that drives me nuts. I think everything should be online. Everything should be public and easily accessible, but whatever. But I'm just noticing that, So, okay, that's interesting. No, thank you, Max. I appreciate that. Let me see. Did you guys have any other questions for Mr. Solomon here? Crook said same thing Tiffany went through at the township, 60 days, but I don't think so though, Crook, because like Max said, they have, the township made its own ordinances or what have you. So I don't know. So Harvey's might be different, but so when all that stuff was happening in selecting Frank's replacement, though, Max, you were saying that Thornton Township was following the Thornton Township guidelines. Is that what you were saying, Max? Are you there? Can you hear me? Hello? Hello? Did we lose you? Okay. I don't know. Maybe I lost him for a second. I see your visual. Max, but I can't hear you. He's not muted. Okay. Yeah. Any other, Max, just to, talk to me. Let me know. I still don't hear anything yet, but let me know if you're back with us. Kirk, was there anything else that we wanted to talk about? Okay, here he is. Okay.
All right, can you hear me now?
He's back. Oh, yes, I hear you, although you got an echo, but yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, we got an echo.
Oh, okay. There you go. Yes. Yeah. Now you're good. Now you're good. Now you're good. But yeah, no, that's awesome. I'm trying to think of what else is going on.
I still hear the echo.
You have an echo on your end?
Oh, is it on my end?
Yeah, no, you're good on our end now. Yeah, I'm good. I don't hear an echo on your end. I mean, on our side, you know, you sound clear. Oops. Hello. Oh, Crook, where did he go, Crook? Wait, where's my? Why is he not showing up? Crook, what's happening? Hold on. We'll get to your question, Cher. Just give me a second. Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Oh, I heard me.
I heard me.
All right, now say something, Max. All right.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes. Now we can hear you again.
Still hear the echo, but if you guys can hear me without an echo,
I can manage.
Oh, okay, cool. Yes. No, now you sound clear.
what I was saying earlier
Was that
the Illinois Township Code
Yes.
provides for 60 days
in case of vacancies in the township. But such numbers or such duration or timeline is not set in the municipal code for villages and cities.
Right. It's like a separate. Yeah.
Right.
What do you think about? I've also had a lot of questions, Max, recently about. I mean, this applies to Harvey, the township, a lot of different boards, but people are saying like, look, we know so and so doesn't live in the jurisdiction. Like for instance, you know, there was the one of the hearings that I attended, one of the objection hearings to Napoleon's candidacy, you know, where Keith Price was there, and they were trying to say, well, look, this is well documented. Napoleon doesn't live in the township, but voters are so frustrated. They're seeing time and time again that it appears that the authorities they look the other way, even when it's put right in their face, that they will just make any excuse to say, you know, oh, well, yeah, no, we don't see that. Wait, what's that? Residency objection? Wait, what's that? We don't see, you know, I mean, has this been happening for, you know, all the years you've been in practice? Do you notice this stuff happening more lately? Like, why is this going on? What's up with all this, these residents?
Well, I'm not going to comment on that because, as you know, I've been involved in litigation back and forth. But the ultimate question is for the voters and the residents to answer.
Mm-hmm.
When you go vote, know who you're voting for and know why you're voting for them. Personally, I think elected officials get away with the things they get away with because voters keep voting them in. And if you're going to ask for elected officials to be accountable and responsible, we might as well ask the same of voters. We're not going to be voting for the same thing over and over again and for the same people over and over again and expect that things are going to be different.
Right. Well, you know, I agree with you
every 2 years, every 4 years, every year, we have an opportunity to choose one way or the other. And if we keep doing the same thing, we're going to keep getting the same result.
Right.
So that's all I'm going to say about that. It's unfortunate what's going on. And not only in townships, even in cities and villages, even in special districts. library district, park district, townships, cities, villages, state. You know, we have to be more responsible voters.
Right. No, for sure. For sure. Another question that some people have been asking, like, what happens? Well, no, I guess he was already removed. I was going to say that what happens when, like in Riverdale, you know, the mayor was indicted, but then he was convicted. They did remove him immediately. They held their
Resigned. He resigned.
Ooh, the Riverdale mayor.
Yes, he resigned.
Oh, I thought in the media they said that just because of the law that immediately when you're convicted of a federal crime or something that you automatically are taken out of office. But regardless, I know they had their meeting, you know, where they selected.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, that's true. A felony conviction would divorce you from your elected official. I mean, official from office, elected office.
Right.
However, he resigned. The moment he was convicted, he resigned. And it doesn't matter whether he resigned or not. He was going to be removed anyway. He was going to be ineligible to continue as mayor. He knew that.
Right.
And he resigned.
Although, you know, it's so funny because I don't know if they ever resolved it, but Michael Smith and some of the other Riverdale residents were complaining because they said, hey, he's not the mayor anymore. Why is he still driving around a vehicle that I guess was a city vehicle or a village vehicle? And then I think they voted to like sell it to him. And so, but then he was still using village plates. And I'm like, oh, Lord, I don't even know. Like I don't cover Riverdale.
Yeah, that needs to be looked into.
That was what?
That needs to be looked into. That's true.
Right. Yeah. So I was exactly like I said, well, that doesn't sound right to me. Now, Cher had a question regarding the security. I don't think there's anything legally we can do, but she says, why in the world is she, referring to Shirley Drewinski, getting private security detail when the town is broke? She's not under contract as mayor. Well, but as you said, Max, I'm not saying it's right that she's pulling police officers off patrol, off the streets, you know, to do her security detail, but technically she does have the authority as mayor, you know, full authority.
Well, the questions are asked there is, was the former mayor also getting the same security?
Yes. So he had the same situation. He had two, at least that's what, you know, my sources tell me, that because again, Harvey's very secretive. It's very, very difficult to get clear answers from the city. You have to fight, you have to sue, they make it difficult. But from what my sources tell me, yes, there were two officers that were on detail, you know, for whenever Mayor Clark wanted them. And it sounds like Shirley has requested the same thing. So, I mean, I think she has the authority to. That's what I'm saying, like legally, right? I'm not saying I agree with it, but I mean, as far as I know, as mayor pro tem, as you said, that person has all the authority that a mayor would typically have. There, you know, so.
And all the protection too. But you know, the person who asked the question asked a very good question. Personally, I don't see why.
Oh, did we lose your audio? Hello. Hello. All right. Well, while Max tries to get back to us, let me read Cher's next comment. There's no security for a single mayor here within 150 square miles of me. I've checked. Right. I know. I remember you saying that, Cher, because you're in Georgia, right? In Georgia. Yeah, and I'm not for it at all. I think it's wasteful. I think it's ridiculous. I think it's just, you know, No, you don't need that. But okay, hopefully Max will refresh and join us again. And then Cher says, Paul, has anyone avoided the state with a list for licensed businesses in the village of Harvey for the last 6 years? This whole thing screams businesses committing massive fraud. Oh, wait a minute. How is it? What kind of frauds would the businesses be doing? I don't understand, Cher. Can you explain? Also, since Harvey's a sanctuary city, how much migrant money has come in and who has dispersed for the last 6 years? No, Harvey was never voted in as a sanctuary city. Immigrants have tended to not be treated very well. But yeah, the businesses, I don't know. I don't think the businesses have been doing fraud, but I know the city's been doing a whole bunch of shenanigans with the with like harassing them. But yeah, I'm with you on that mayor thing. Oh my goodness, you guys. Now, do you have, please don't be shy while we have I'm sure Max will be back, but while we have the lawyer with us, ask your questions. I'm so glad that he came on. Hopefully he'll jump back on. But yeah, Crook, did I forget anything, Crook? I know I showed you guys how to check out the like I said, whether it's for Harvey or for your own town, how to search for the city codes. The city codes, you know how to do that. I showed you that ordinance about the filling a vacated seat for mayor. That was the state. I'm sorry, the state statute, I believe. It's so funny. I never understood that. Like, why are certain things are statutes, other things are ordinances, other things are laws. I've never understood that. Sometimes where it's like, why is it so complicated? All right, sorry. I was just looking. I wanted to look for another post. Crook, did he come back? Okay, no. He hasn't come back yet. But you know what? Even if he doesn't, I'm very grateful. That was good. Oh, yeah. He's been with us for about an hour now. So that was very kind of Attorney Solomon. What do you guys think? Let me know in the chat if you would be interested in getting other lawyers on. Like, if anybody knows any good municipal lawyers, please do let me know. Hello. Oh no, I thought you must have had a problem or something. I don't know what happened, but we just lost you. But yeah, you can. Oh really? Oh, it should still work. Oh, okay. Well, hold on. Let me see. Maybe we have to generate a new one. That it shouldn't be the case, but I'll look. I can do that. Let me see here. Invite guests. Yeah. Yeah, we're still on. I mean, yeah. Sure. Yeah. Yeah, I just sent you another link. Actually, no, it shows up as the same link. Well, anyway, just try it again. I texted it to you anyway. Maybe it'll like it this time better. See what happens. Okay. All right, he's gonna try to come back, you guys. Crook, did I lose you? Where'd you go, Crook? All right. There you are. Okay, now we got you again, Max. You're back. Hello.
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah, we can hear you now.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes. No, thank you. I appreciate it. I was trying to think of what else to ask. I know I mentioned the residency thing. Oh, you know what? What I really want, whether you, if you're interested, you can let me know, Max, or if you know of any other, lawyers or whatever. But I really want to do some educational lives as well as some recorded videos in telling people, just explaining the election process. So, obviously how to register to vote, but also like what if people want to run for office, how it works, because a lot of people, they do want to get involved, but it feels so intimidating. And the many times the
Right.
people that have been on these boards for years and years, they don't want to share power, and they don't. So they
Right.
become gatekeepers. So they don't say, they purposely will be very hush hush until the deadline for like petition signatures is over, and then they'll be like, "Oh, I'm running for this now," and then people are like, "Wait, ew, those same people, we wanted some new people." So I think I'd love to do, if you're interested in ever joining us or contributing to that, but just to really educate people about, how do I run for office and how does that work? How does
Yeah.
that yeah.
Yes, you've just raised a subject matter that's very near and dear to my heart. If you know me or if you've followed me, you know that I'm a strong advocate for public office and public responsibility and public participation. We need to, and I commend you. And if you ever start that kind of program or that kind of conversation, count me in. I'll be more than happy to come on and encourage people and even help people get on the ballot, help people understand the process, help people understand the legal aspects or the legal requirements for whatever office they want to run for. And like I said, even help them to get on the ballot. We need responsibility and accountability in elected office. I'm a strong, very, very strong proponent and advocate for term limits. I don't buy the idea. I've never subscribed to the idea that one person should hold office for years and years on end, and it aids corruption. It aids and encourages complacency. They feel powerful. They feel, you know, invincible, and it's frustrating, because there are people out there who are genuinely interested in serving the public and doing the right thing and being accountable and responsible to the people that have elected them. And I agree with you. We need to help people like that get on the ballot and educate them on how to run for office. Yes, I totally agree with you, and I think it's a good direction. I mean, it's a good step in the right direction.
Good, I'm glad. And I was going to say, you know what, I'm sure if you're taking on, if you're ever taking on clients, I'll probably need help with my petitions too, because I'm going to try to run for alderman for next year.
Let's do it.
I feel bad because I feel like we shouldn't need lawyers to do these things, but it's just gotten so messy with people trying to get people knocked off the ballot for really silly things. Right. And so I agree with you. And then it just breaks my heart and angers me that there's just so much gatekeeping involved, and that's not even mentioning, what if you wanted to run as an independent or someone who is not a part of either the Democratic or the Republican Party? Then we're not even talking about how Illinois state law punishes you and makes you get way more signatures. And it's not like you did anything wrong. You just wanted to be an independent person or maybe run with a party that was not one of the two big parties. But, the way the laws are set up, right, that's also gatekeeping, because unfortunately, that's just how the system's set up. I don't want to keep you because you've been wonderful and we'll definitely bring you back. But what do you think about, I wanted to ask you, what do you think about recalls, because last year around this time, there were 2 Republican lawmakers from downstate Illinois that introduced a bill at the state level that would basically allow recalls of any elected position in Illinois. And I personally, I actually want to see recalls more so than I want to see term limits, because I don't trust a lot of really rich people. And I know, like, for instance, like the Madigan types and everything, like a lot of people say, oh, Madigan's gone, da, 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 da. No, he's not. Now we have Chris Welch in his place. And it's like, they'll oftentimes, they don't care if you get term limits in my view. They don't care, because they're like, well, it's fine. We're all big corporate donors anyway. We'll just, put in another guy. We'll just find another guy to do what we want. But I was pleased. It was a bipartisan bill at the state level. Now, of course, it didn't pass, because, as I know you're shocked to hear this, Max, but a lot of Illinois politicians don't want to be accountable during their terms. I know you're just like, what, Brian? No way. but I called them, and both of those Republican lawmakers were very nice and very easy to talk to. They answered their personal phones when I called. They answered the numbers, and so I don't know what you think about the recall option, but I always thought that would be a great way to bring more accountability.
Absolutely, I agree. A recall provision is a tool of democracy, right? It is a tool of democracy, and you have to support tools of democracy. And recall simply means, if we elect you into office, or the majority of us elect you into a certain office, and if at any point during your term, whether it's 2 years or 4-year term or 6-year term in the case of senators, or even park district, or library district, whatever, if we feel like you're not doing, or you're not being responsive and responsible in that office, well, let's have a fresh conversation. And that fresh conversation means, let's put you back on the ballot and see if the people still feel strongly about you. So it's more like a vote of no confidence, but initiated by the people and executed by the people. That's a recall. So if you win your recall, obviously that's your answer right there. Maybe the majority of the people think you're still doing a good job, or maybe they think you could do better. But whatever way it goes, it's a tool of democracy. It's a check on responsibility and responsiveness in office. And if we have such provisions, I bet you politicians are going to behave better. They're going to know that they are being held accountable, and that their office can be taken out of office through a recall. I support it. I say all that to say I'm all for it. I would support it. I also support term limits. I think all these tools of democracy are very useful in our society to curb corruption, to curb invincibility. And like you said earlier, people who wants to run for office are being intimidated, knocked off the ballot, or intimidated, or they find a way to keep them off the ballot. Those are serious issues that needs to be addressed.
Right. No, I would love to have you back on, because the great thing about those things is that we all have our candidates, issues, parties that we might favor from time to time, but like the participation is very nonpartisan. Like we should all want to encourage democracy and encourage everyone's voices to be heard.
Yes, I agree. And we should focus on policy, not politics or parties.
Mm-hmm. Right, I agree.
We have to focus on policy, and that's the common denominator that's supposed to give us all a common ground. Because if my property taxes if I live in Cook County and my property taxes are high, and you live in Cook County too, chances are your property taxes are high too. I don't care if you're a Democrat or a Republican. If my problem is high property taxes, I'm going to vote for somebody who is going to bring me some relief. Right. Whether they're Green Party, Republican Party, Democrat Party, Independent Party, individual party, whatever party.
Right.
It's a problem that needs to be solved. Right.
And I think I've shown that, because I'm a registered Democrat, and I don't hide that, but I so critique. I don't like the Democratic machine. I'm a constant critic. And for the township elections last year, I wanted to interview all the different candidates, but the Republican slate was they were the only ones that actually agreed to sit down with me and talk. And it was so great because we talked about issues. And I really liked
Yes.
that. And I asked them and I said, well, how would you fix this in the township? What do you think about this? What do you think about this? And it was just so nice to talk about well, what can we do to make government work better for people instead of who was wearing the prettiest dress or who do you like,
Right.
who do you think is the funniest? And these things that it's like, guys, that has nothing to do with the job,
Right. I
So,
agree.
so thank you.
Agree. It's
And-
important.
Right.
Yeah.
Substance. And Kirk says, thank you, Max. I appreciate and respect the architect. Thank you for the education. Looking forward to seeing you here out of next one. Thank you, brother.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks for having me. It's always fun having this conversation. We
Well, I
need
hope
more
you-
of it. And I thank you too. I thank you for taking the initiative to have these public conversations. We need more of it. And I wish you well. I wish you more power to your elbow.
Thank you. Oh, and then and before you go, did you want to tell because yes, definitely. I would love to have you back. I hope you felt comfortable. I'm trying to give that forum, that space. But did you want to tell us any or promote yourself or your business services, whatever, if you're running for anything, to give you that opportunity, or if you want to tell people like how they can reach you, what have you? Go ahead.
Well, thanks for the opportunity, but it's not about me. Again, if there's anything I would like for people to know, or I would like for people to do, or I would like for people to be about, please, please, please be about policies, issues, not politics, and not parties. If you can do that, and if you can be that, we have a common platform, right? Vote for issues, vote for policies, not politics. Don't get locked into one political party. Nobody is born anything. There are no, registered Democrats or registered Republicans or registered this, registered that. You make a choice. You choose to vote one way or the other based on whatever reasons you vote in that way or the other. And education, exposure, and just having conversation, civil conversation is what's going to draw us all together and make our society a better place. You're doing your part, right? You're doing a very good job. You creating platforms for people to come and have conversations. We need that. When it's election time, encourage people to run. Don't be afraid to run for office. If you need help, reach out to me. Yes, I'm a conservative man. I'm a Republican, but I work with Democrats. It doesn't matter to me what color, creed, or party you belong to. If we're making sense and we're trying to solve a common problem, I'm your man. You're my man. Let's work together. And that's what I'm about. So I encourage people to run for office. Reach out to me if you need any help. I'm an election attorney. I help candidates get on the ballot, and I'm grateful for what I do. I'm thankful to God for the opportunities that I have, and I just want to use it to help others. So if you ever need any help, anybody who needs any help, I don't care what party they are, as long as they're good people, as long as we know that it's about policy and not politics and parties, we're on the same page. Thank you for the opportunity, and I look forward to coming back and having this and more conversations with you.
Definitely. Thank you, Max. Oh, and sorry. Paul also says, thank you, Max. I wish that we could free municipal and township elections from national party politics. So
I agree 100%.
thank you, Paul, for that comment. Yes. And with that, we will leave you. I won't take up any more of your time because we'll bring you back for sure.
Thank you.
All right, Max. Thank you. Have a great evening.
You too.
All right. Bye-bye. Okay, that was wonderful. Thank you, guys. Yeah, and Cher, I wasn't ignoring your comments. I just wanted to get the Max stuff in there. So that was great. Thank you guys for attending. Every city in Illinois is a sanctuary city. I Googled it. I didn't think so. I mean, I'm very pro-immigrant. I'm pro everybody. With the new investigations of massive fraud in Illinois, most famously in Minnesota with the Somalians, that's what I meant. I don't believe that, Cher. I think a lot of that stuff is just like, see, here's the thing. The Minneapolis fraud was figured out by a FOIA to the state for a list of fraud in the business, 18 billion worth. This is and Paul might be able to speak to this because he's a native Minnesotan, but the reason why you're seeing a lot of anti-immigrant stuff in corporate media is because the goal of the rich people, again, remember, in all parties, okay? So when I'm saying the rich, the corporations, the capitalists, whatever you want to call, the bad people, their job is to distract us from the fact that they're trying to enslave us all, and like take all the resources and kill the planet and things like that. So I think it's really important to whenever, especially, like I said, especially in corporate media, or on social media, which has a lot of bots, which is also owned by big corporations, whenever you see scapegoats that don't make sense, if you really, really think about it, like immigrants, people that speak a different language or might look different than you or what have you, usually that's being done for a reason, because it's a distraction. So it's just, that's what how I view it, because I know that all these rich people, they all party together, their kids go to school together, they go to the same country clubs together, and they control so many resources and jobs, money, water, food, that we could feed and clothe and employ the world 100 times over. But the only reason we can't is because they want us to fight each other while they hoard everything. So that's how I feel about it. But all right, I'm closing this legal stuff out now, but that was really good. I'm glad. How did you guys feel about Sam? Would you like to see him again? I mean, Max, I'm sorry, not Sam. Prima Donna says Google has jokes. I don't get it. Okay, y'all. Well, then that's it. That's it for me. I don't even intend to go this long. I'm out. I'm going to hop on my TikTok live if you want to say hi there. And if anybody knows how to broadcast from StreamYard to TikTok, it's been driving me nuts. I cannot figure out how to do it, because that would be great. I'd love to bring my TikTok audience in. I have a lot of followers there, but I can't figure out how to do it. Crook, come on, Crook, and or Paul, help me. Am I forgetting stuff? What else is going on? Tomorrow we will be canvassing from 10 to 1. Let's see. I'll be canvassing with some people in the second ward about the Harvey Neighborhood Network's beautification project. It's going to be a 30-week program that a lot of different organizations, including the Harvey Historical Society, will be involved in. So if you want to volunteer, we're looking for people to volunteer. It's supposed to be a big project, and it's getting a lot of money, a lot of funding. Let's see. Sunday, if you're interested, I'm going to a whistle pack making party, to defend against ICE. If you guys are interested, that's I think in Flossmoor. We have a Harvey City Council meeting on Monday. I have not seen the agenda yet. Did anybody see if it was posted? I haven't seen it posted yet. I guess that's it. Kirk, did I forget anything? No? One more place I'll check. Oh yes, I know. Because I'm just, since my sales have been slow, I'm trying to look for some ways to make a little extra money. But I am, as an Illinois certified French and English teacher, so especially with all this crazy stuff going on with immigrant groups, being stressed and people getting kidnapped and crazy stuff like that. If you need to work on your English, I'm offering time in my schedule where I can schedule private or group small group English lessons. So if you want to work on your English, usually I charge like 60 an hour typically. But I'm doing sliding scale because I feel like it's, in addition to the fact that I would like to make some more money, I'm trying to make it fit my community work. And if you can't afford 60 an hour, I get it. We can work out a sliding scale. What can you afford? But if I can make a little bit of money to help pay my bills and you can improve your English, you're going to be a lot less likely to be taken advantage of than if you don't, if you can't speak English very well. So, and also people, same thing for if you're interested in French lessons. I haven't given any private ones in a while, but I did have a lady. Like I said, usually it's like 60 an hour that I'll charge because I'm very well educated and I have about 7 years, at least 7. I had 7 years in high school and junior high. So those are, if you can teach high school and junior high kids, you can teach anybody because they're very, very challenging at times. Even though I loved it though, and I was a good teacher. I am a good teacher. But so yeah, please spread the word. Let me know if you're interested in English lessons. I can do them virtually as well. You don't have to come here to meet physically. We don't have to meet physically. We can do them virtually via video or what have you. But yeah, let me know because that would be a way I'd like to help. And Michael says, if anyone wants to be a block captain, we meet at the municipal building on the first Saturday of each month. So they will be meeting tomorrow as well at City Hall. But yeah, I wanted to mention that. I forgot about my lessons. So if you want English or French lessons, please let me know and we can work out a payment that is affordable for you. Did anybody talk to that 205, that District 205 parent? Remember that the Harvey World Herald interviewed that guy who was very upset? I wanted to reach out to him. And I'm hoping maybe we can have Max on again. And then also I was talking to Jonathan Ramirez today. He's a gentleman that's running for First Ward Alderman. I'm running for Second Ward. So it's exciting. I as I was saying to Max, I want to do some educational stuff for the election soon. So Kirk and everybody and team and you all can help with that. If anybody wants to present on that, please do volunteer, because I already do enough. I do too much work for not enough money. Anyway, okay, you guys, thanks for joining. And unless anybody else says anything else, that's it for me for now. I'm gonna get my TikTok ready. Let's see what kind of crazy people are gonna be on tonight. Bonne nuit. Au revoir.